everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Conversations. I am your hostess, Marla Martenson, and today I've got a very exciting guest today. Her name is also Marla. She has the most beautiful name in the world. Marla Brooks always knew that there was more to this world than the eye could see, and found the notion of ghosts and other things that go bump in the night rather fascinating. But of course you might expect that from a witch. Before coming out of the broom closet, she worked as an entertainment writer for several national publications, mainly doing celebrity interviews, and is the author of several books in both the metaphysical and mainstream genres. She's also the creator of the Witch's Oracle deck and one of my favorite podcasts, Stirring the Cauldron on Para X Radio Network. Welcome, Marla.
Hello.
Hello.
Sounds like we're talking about somebody else, but you know.
Yeah, I know. It's when I'm on shows and they read my bio, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd like to be friends with her. She sounds pretty cool.
Over your shoulder, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So welcome. So for October, I love talking about all things witchy and Halloweeny, and you guys. So Marla is a witch, and I. On your bio, it says that you didn't just decide one day that you wanted to be a witch. It's just part of who you are, and your great-grandmother was a witch, and it kind of goes through the bloodline. So explain, how does that work?
It can. It's really weird how that works, but it's like DNA, and it kind of follows down. And the great-grandmother had a daughter that she wanted to teach the craft to, and that daughter's name was Manya.
Mm-hmm.
But Manya didn't want to have any part of it. So it kind of skipped a couple of generations, and then unbeknownst to those who named me, because at the time nobody talked about, great-granny being a witch, they named me after her, but they anglicized it to Marla.
Okay, interesting.
So it just kind of, it was one of those things that was meant to be, sort of, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to, it doesn't have to be in your blood to be a witch. I mean, you can, study up and be one too. But
now, did you start studying as a little girl? They were teaching you, or how young were you when you were into all this?
They didn't teach me at all. I was raised by my grandparents, and the witch was my grandfather's mother, the great-grandma. And they didn't they knew about it. They would whisper about it. You know how when you're asleep as a kid and you hear, and then you hear something like witch, and you go, So I didn't really know about it. I mean, not as far as them teaching me, because they didn't want me to know.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother was a little bit, she believed in ghosts and spirits and all that stuff, but she didn't want me to mess around with witchcraft. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know anything until I got a little bit older and my mom started spilling the beans. And probably as a teenager, I kind of started to get a little bit more interested in it. The funny thing was, though, when I was like 5 or 6, when I first started to read, there was a book called The Littlest Witch, and I would go to every week and take it out. I had no clue why, but it was just that was the go-to book that I kind of memorized, actually.
I used to do that too. There was any books on witches, in novels or anything kids book. There was a book, and I can't remember the name. I wish I could, but there was a book I was in elementary school. It was at the elementary school library, and maybe 4th or 5th grade. And I used to take that book out because you could only keep it out for so long. So I'd check it out, I'd return it, and then I'd go check it out again. And it smelled like mothballs. It was a hardcover. I don't know how it smelled, but I loved that book so much. I had a witches club. My name was Hildegard. I always loved all the witchy things. Now, you had mentioned they didn't want you getting into witchcraft. So what are the misconceptions? Because it's nothing bad. It's all, positive stuff, really. The people that, right?
I mean, there's light and dark. I mean, there are dark witches, there are dark practitioners, and then there's the lighter ones, and then there's the fluffy bunnies.
Uh-huh.
But the misconceptions are that we all dance with the devil. We eat little children for lunch. We have a green complexion, which is really good because I got a good makeup. I can cover it well. And the warts, that's the invisibility spell covers the warts. There are more misconceptions than there are truths. And, we try to alleviate that. That's why I do my show, so that people understand. I mean, I do other things besides pagan stuff and witchy, but to get to know, before you judge, find out what you're doing before you start pointing the finger. Right. And So it's just, we don't believe in the devil, so
Hmm.
we can't really dance with him because that's what they think we do on Halloween. There's just so many other normal things that we are that they don't see because once you get the label,
Hmm. Yeah.
that you're just,
I think, my definition of witches are healers, are, um, it's earth based, studying the moon and the stars and the herbs and the plants and healing and crystals and all of that kind of beautiful,
magical stuff.
magical stuff. Right, right. And I think it must be Disney or Hollywood or whatever that kind of, or maybe some organized religions that kind of put the darker turn on it, and people don't know, so they just what they've heard, and then they just say, "Oh, witchcraft, that's bad." So,
You can blame Hollywood, but it goes way back farther.
yeah, right, that's true too.
And so, yeah, I mean, thousands of years of persecution and thousands of years of being told, all the bad stuff. I mean, they did a really good job.
Yes,
Still fighting it today.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now it seems like to me that being a witch is kind of in vogue now. I see a lot of it. I see different people, talking about it, doing things. It's like there's a great interest. There's a lot of books being published about it, Facebook groups. Do you notice that too? Kind of an uptick in the interest there on the
Yeah.
positive side.
And for two reasons. I mean, one, we're much more open minded now than we were 20 years ago. I mean, especially ghosts, spirits, and all that stuff. We are getting more enlightened than used to be. Secondly, there's a lot of wannabes that just like the label. And, that's okay in a sense, but they're the ones that kind of spoil it for everybody else because they will go out and use the old things. Well, we're doing this and we're going to draw pentagrams here and there. And, we wear the upside down pentacle, which is really I mean, it just goes on and on. So there are people that are giving us a bad name by doing that, but it was ghosts, the last 10, 15 years it was ghosts. Now it's more metaphysical, more pagan.
Hmm. The
So.
Ghost Hunter show is real popular and stuff. Now, for people who don't know about the pentagram, what is that? Why do the witches wear it? Because people think it's an evil symbol or
Yeah.
something.
I call it the pagan St. Christopher
Okay.
because it's for protection. I mean, it goes back hundreds of years. The 5 points represent the elements earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So that's what it is. And it's just one of those things that you wear kind of because you feel protected by it, you trust it, and you're used to it, and it isn't bad at all. But again, watch any Hollywood movie, and there it is on the wall, and fire shoots out of it and stuff.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
and the holidays are the Christian holidays were really taken from the pagan holidays that the witches celebrate, weren't they? A lot of the
So, yeah, there's. All right, here's what they used to say.
Okay.
And there's still people will still say that. I don't bash organized religion. But they will say, well, Catholicism, Christianity took your holiday. And what they write is that when Christianity was developed, when it was created, they went around to the villagers and tried to get people to convert.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the ways that you could get somebody to convert is if your religion is similar to what you already are practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So they would take the basics and kind of just alter them just a little bit. So it was, okay, that's recognizable.
Right.
And so, like, All Saints' Day and Halloween comes, some of those traditions come from what we used to do from Samhain.
Mm-hmm.
And Yule,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where did the log come from? Okay, I mean, the symbolism and stuff. So, yeah, that's kind of what it was. It started with, it's not that they stole it, but I guess copying stuff is a good form of flattery, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like eggs, the Easter eggs for fertility, and the Easter, the bunny, and which the eggs aren't religious, but it's like a cultural symbol, kind of.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it works, and I think because I try to post stuff like that every holiday, it's just kind of showing the similarities. Just people can be a little bit more open-minded and maybe try to understand it.
Absolutely. So, tell us. You have some books, and I just loved workplace spells, everyday magic for on the job, because I talk about this a lot. So many people are going to jobs that they don't like or that they even hate or just dredging through, and I was able to break free of the kind of 9 to 5 and then forge my own path, and I always encourage people to do it. So what is in that book that people can do to kind of make things more magical on the job or whatever?
Yeah, I asked people, because I did a 9 to 5 for a lot of years too. But I asked people, what are your biggest gripes about work? What are your problems with work? And, they'd say, well, coworkers and gossip and not getting enough raises and all that. The book is full of stuff. I mean, there are like empowerment sachets that you can make up and sleep under your pillow and it'll help you empower, or things that will, harmony powder, for example. There's a great recipe, and but you have to be sneaky about this. You have to go in and kind of sprinkle around the office when nobody's there. But then, it brings harmony. But there are certain spells too, empowerment spells and things. I mean, there's just about every, wouldn't you say, because you read the book, just about every workplace gripe is, I think. I might have missed a couple, but, so it's, and people, it's not for just witches. I mean, this is the thing.
Right.
Everybody can do a spell. Everybody does spells every day. When you pray, when you wish on something, you're doing a spell, because a spell is just a guided intention.
When you're blowing out your birthday candle.
Yes.
Right. You're wishing, these are spells. Yeah. And that's what I love to tell people, because we're doing our affirmations, we're doing those kind of rituals, the candle, the whatever, your lucky coin, your lucky rabbit's foot, whatever. It's all kind of the same thing.
Exactly.
But the spells are more focused intention, which I love.
Right. And so, anybody that has work issues or has anything like that, it's a book to pick up, because it's not going to, if you're not a witch, it's not going to turn you into one. That's what people are afraid of. Oh my God, I'm going to, the pointy hat's going to grow out of my head, or, I'm going to have a pitchfork or something. But it's a helpful way, and it's white magic. It's not black magic. It's not going to harm anybody,
And the witch's creed is harm ye none, right? It's what is it?
The Wiccan creed.
The Wiccan creed, yeah. It's don't harm anyone, it's that's what.
Do as you will. Yeah.
Do as you will. And what would you say to people who are interested, and what if somebody's watching and they say, well, I'd love to be a witch. What does it take? How many years? What kind of study? When can I call myself one? Do I have to join a coven?
There's a lot of good books out there. Websites I'm a little bit leery of, because you just don't know. There are books by certain people like Raymond Buckland, who brought Wicca over to this country from England, Gerald Gardner's Wicca. Raymond Buckland's books are good. Judica Illis's books are wonderful. There are even Scott Cunningham, Llewellyn books, the late Scott Cunningham. Yeah. There are certain authors that you need to pick up and read and understand. Everybody's got a little different point of view, but it's all basically the same. And there's the Witch's Bible. That's another one out. I've got tons out. And so, that's the thing. You have to find the authors that are trustworthy, that I consider trustworthy anyway, and read, and read a lot, and you talk to others. And if you're really curious about it, you look for covens, and you can join a coven. I'm a solitary, just because it's not that I'm not a team player, but you get any group of people and you've got, ego and power, and,
Right. That's what I've heard about, that covens, that it can get kind of sticky, the ego and there. So solitary, you practice what you want, right? And maybe there could be some, how there's lapsed Catholics, they still consider themselves a Catholic, but they don't go to church or anything maybe once a year. So maybe there's some lapsed witches. They're not.
There probably is, yeah. There's really a lot of that. But yeah, so you learn, you study, and there's so many paths that you have to read a lot to find out which path you are on, or what sounds right to you.
There's the kitchen witch, the eclectic witch, the solitary witch, there's
hedge witch.
Yeah.
The witch.
The Strega group.
Scary ones. People think they're scary. So you just have to kind of do what fits best for you, what feels right, and if you want to join a coven and go in and listen to them, and if something just doesn't stick right in your gut, just excuse yourself. because everybody's different.
What I like about it is you can just practice, read. You don't need to be baptized or indoctrinated into something. You can just start practicing it, being a witch if you want. You can take it as far as you want or as little as you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the essence of it is great. You don't have, there are a lot of witches that don't do spells and things like that. And spell casting is a whole other show. I mean, it's dangerous. Not everybody's supposed to do it, or meant to do it.
Yeah. Well, now you're saying it's dangerous. So just these positive spells to bring peace in the workplace or whatever. Now these are not, but
no, that's different. I'm talking about people want to do spell. They want to do a love spell on somebody.
Oh,
it's you're interacting with somebody,
right?
And the worst thing is trying to take anybody's free will away.
Yes, that's very, very dangerous.
And so the spells in my book are basically what you do for yourself. I mean, the harmony powder, okay, it makes everybody happy. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's just focusing on it because people don't understand that if they're mad at somebody, and this is a big newbie mistake, but they're mad at somebody and they want to cast a spell and stub your toe or break your leg or something like that. And you aim it at the person, but these people don't know that it could spread and it could do something to their child or their mate or their family, their parents. This is where spell work is. Mm-hmm.
And boomerang back right on you.
Yeah, and it will bounce back too. And that's the thing. People think they can do something. Yeah, you can pick up a book and read a spell and do it. Yeah. But you don't know what's behind it. You don't know what you're doing. So, anybody can do it, but not most people, but a lot of people should not because they do it for the wrong reasons.
And tell us a little bit about your podcast, because I just think I love how you played music, somebody's music in the beginning, and then your intro music is fantastic, and such interesting guests. When did you start your podcast?
Like 100 years ago, more like 10, I think.
Oh, okay.
And it started out to be much more ghosty stuff because that was the trend, and Para X was everybody on Para X. All the hosts were doing ghost hunter things and ghost groups and all that. And I really hesitated about doing it. I mean, I told the owner because he was like, "Oh, you got to do it," because they had me on for my Ghost of Hollywood book when it was coming out. Oh, we need you here, and I said, "No, I don't want to do a cookie cutter show like all the other ones." And he says, "But you've got something that they don't." I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, what?" He says, "Hey, remember, you're a witch." And and then I realized that there might be a reason for doing that and a reason for getting invited to do the show. Right. So now I will cover all sorts of the metaphysical. Mm-hmm. I mean, we talk about ghosts and stuff, but we don't have groups that go out ghost hunting, for example. We talk about witchcraft. We talk about crypto stuff. I mean, we cover all bases. And I like doing that because I like to learn. And sometimes I kind of have to, gear myself. Well, maybe I don't want to do that. Yeah, but your listeners want to do it, Marla. They want to hear that. So, but it's just across the board, a lot of things. It's on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern on Para X. And we have a great chat room. We have people coming in. An intelligent chat room.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So we're not talking, people aren't talking about, we went on a date last night, in the middle of something that's, going on that we're talking about. People actually listen and they ask questions, so it's pretty interactive. And
I haven't done that yet because I have it downloaded on my iPhone with all my podcasts, and then I listen. Chat. Yeah, so I've got to do that, figure that one out. But yeah, so you guys can just download it, and I'll put the link, and then you can download it, which is great.
I mean, you come to the live show, or it's podcasted on my website, which is marlabrooks.com.
Yeah, you have a great website. That one is so fun. It's like this what is that? Oh, a rat with the little, or a mat.
Yeah, with the contact thing. Yeah,
a little rat, and it's kind of interactive, animated website. It is so cute. You guys have got to go check it out.
With that, I like to go and play. But yeah, so, you can come in and listen live, and you should sometimes, because it's a good thing, and you're going to be on the show soon.
I'm going to be on the show, you guys, and I'm going to put the links everywhere. It's going to be so much fun. Whenever I hear a guest saying, Marla, and I always think, you don't hear it's not a popular name, so I always am like a little still. I'm shocked, like, oh, they're talking about me?
Right, exactly, we do that. But yeah, and if people can't come to the live show, it's can be found at Podomatic and it can be found on iTunes. So I'm all
Mm-hmm.
over. Easy to
That's
find.
fantastic.
I have really good guests. I don't take the credit for it being a good show. It's my guests, and they're the ones that make it.
They are great, but you're great too. You let them talk, and you just have this nice voice. You have great questions. I just think it's terrific. That's probably why you've been on so long. You do a
Either that,
fantastic.
or I'm just crazy. I mean, or a glutton for punishment, or a sadist for everybody else. I don't know. But, yeah,
No.
but I enjoy doing it. So
Well, Marla, thank you so much for stopping by and talking all things witchy. And you guys, leave your comments below. What do you think about it? What do you think about witches? Are you scared? Do you think it's cool? Are you going to try a spell to make your
yeah,
love life better or something good? Let us know. Bye, everybody.